I'm back on Rock Lake, Manitoba, and this is the access road. And this was a reference point here where there's some land and rocks that sort of juts out onto the lake. So right now I want to drill a hole in the ice just to verify that there's water underneath, and then have the camera pointing that way for the experiment. I have a piece of wooden dowel. I'm just gonna put it down there. So it went through the ice just to confirm. Okay, so definitely water underneath this area here. So that's the area where I drilled a hole in the ice. I've got the camera set up under some glass here. So the center of the camera lens is about 8.5 inches off the surface. So that's where I've got it set up, and over there is where I drilled the hole earlier. I also have a clock set up over here that should be visible on the camera, which may be useful later. So I'll go to the other side now, and I want to take the road to the far end of the lake there and see if I can shine a mirror that the camera will be able to pick it up, and maybe the corner reflector will help me to locate where this area is. Oh, there's mud here. I'll have to move a little further onto the lake. Oh, it's still mud. Okay, that looks better. Looks muddy, but it looks like water down there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm definitely pulling up water. sun is going lower and the sun is shining right now, so I'll give this a try. So I'm just starting with the mirror test. That's the time on my watch right now. And I can see it reflecting on the surface, but the sun is not as bright as it was earlier either, because it's a little bit clouded over, but still enough to be a little bit bright. So I'll set the camera down here for a bit and then work at this for a while. This mirror, it measures 12 inches tall. So I'll go back now and see if the camera recorded anything. I also have a clock set up over here that should be visible on the camera, which may be useful later. So I'll go to the other side now. This is what I use to drill through the ice. If I measure from the widest location here to this black line over here, it measures just under 13 inches. And in that first drill location, you can see that the bit had not got up to that line yet, and it already broke through the ice. I use that information to make this estimate of ice thickness. This is the box that I use as a camera stand on the lake. If I measure one of these boards, it's just under 5.5 inches. I can use that information to make an estimate that the first drill location had a snow depth of about 6 inches. However, compared to my drill, the depth of the snow may have been as much as 7 inches. The numbers on this diagram are estimated. However, if they're off, I don't think they're going to be off by much. I made a diagram for the other side as well. On the other side, the ice was thicker, and the snow was not as deep. And for the mirror, I added an extra 2 inches because I would occasionally lift the mirror just a little bit to reposition it. So I'm using a total of 14 inches there. So here you can see the height as the two sides compare. When I measured the mirror on the lake, I don't think I had the tape measure flat. If I measure again, it actually looks like it's slightly under 12 inches. Originally I had wanted to do this mirror test at 7.5 miles. However, because of the mud and moving further onto the lake, I've reduced that down to 7.4 miles. So I'm using the Metabunk curve calculator, and instead of entering 8.25 inches for the camera height or observer height, I've entered 12 inches or 1 foot into the calculator. And if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, then this is the results. So I think I should also add that the lake surface is not the same from one side to the other, based on the diagram that I've provided here. So 1.5 inches lower on the far side. So these numbers would actually increase by 1.5 inches. But I'll just go with what the calculator shows. So the hidden height would be 25 feet, 25.43 feet. And if I subtract the height of the mirror plus 2, then the hidden height to the top of the mirror plus 2 is 24.24 feet. And if I include what some would refer to as with standard refraction, then the hidden height to the top of the mirror plus 2 would be 19.92 feet, according to the calculator, not taking this discrepancy into account. I'd also like to show some of Ranty's video. He shot this at a distance of about 13.4 miles. One of the things he shows is this lighthouse. And there's a shoreline there as well, but the shoreline is not visible. The shoreline appears to be visually blocked by water, but it turns out later it wasn't actually physically water that was causing this blockage. Instead, there's an effect going on here that makes the water appear higher than what it really is. And he refers to this as an inferior mirage, but the very interesting thing about this is it's actually happening above the waterline. So he zooms back and he shows that it's at low tide, and he turns to the side and there's a railing there with some sort of a curved structure as well. So I stopped the video there to use as a reference, because he shoots the video again on a different day from the same location. Here's some video that Ranty shot on a different day from the same location, and now you can see the shoreline, and this is also at low tide, and he'll show that later as well when he zooms back. So the shoreline is visible, and also the lighthouse seems to be not nearly as tall as it was before. He shows other things along that shoreline as well, and so I may fast forward this a little bit and get to the part where he zooms back. So off in the side of the screen there, you can see that there's the lighthouse again, and he zooms back and shows that it's at low tide, and once again he shows his location. I don't know how many forms of visual distortion there are when viewing over long distance, nor do I make a claim that I fully understand how any of them work. Something peculiar about this one: have a look at the waves that are furthest away. The waves appear to have a rather odd behavior, and they're also rather large. And then consider perspective. If an object moves further away from you, the object appears to become smaller. But in this case, the waves that are furthest away appear to be the largest. When you're making long distance observations over water, if you see waves behaving like this, it could be an indication that what you're looking at is not really as it seems.